Hi everyone, I'm Isabel.
And I'm Kateri. Welcome back to another episode of No Sugar with Everything Krause.
So today we are just going to dive right into it. In our intro episode, we talked about how we really struggled opening up on Instagram about certain topics because we never really knew how to express what we were thinking. And this is definitely one of those topics that we never really got to showcase or talk about on Everything Krause, I would say. So this is going to be us not sugarcoating our day-to-day battle about ourselves physically. And with that being said, today's topic is going to be about body image.
We just wanted to first offer a trigger warning for people. If this is a sensitive topic in any way for you, we don't want to cause any harm in any way. So feel free to stop listening, skip parts, whatever works best for you. We are not here to speak about what you should do or what you should do for yourself and your body and how to handle yourself. I feel like this is a really individual and personal topic. So we're really here to just have a conversation with each other and have you guys listen into those conversations and take what you want from it almost. We want you to feel comfortable in the fact that other people are feeling this way and have these thoughts and you are not alone, especially a topic like this where I feel like it's way more common than people realize and it's especially relevant in our lives. So let's just dive right into it.
Yeah, so honestly, I'm just thinking, when did this really start for us? Because I feel like I've never really known a time in my life where I didn't have body image problems, I would say. Issues.
Yeah,
Issues.
I mean, I definitely agree. It kind of is very sad that I agree and that you even say that. But I feel like this really started at such a young age. I mean, I know for me it did. I just remember like little moments that I think really, I don't know, when I look back on little moments, I can see myself being like, okay, I can pinpoint when it kind of began. And one of those moments is like being on the beach and me eating a freaking bread, like one of those bread thins, those sandwich thins. They literally call them like bread thins.
Those little wheat thingies.
Yeah. And
I
everyone,
hated them. They
I know.
sucked.
Honestly, I didn't mind them. Like, I've always liked weird food, but like everyone else was eating white bread, for example. And in my mind, I was like, oh no, I need to eat the bread thin because it's healthier. And I'm a female almost. So like the boys can eat the white bread, but I can't. I don't know. Like I
It's
just
no, it's literally called a bread thin. Like eating it would make you would make you thinner.
dinner,
Like
like no,
what
it's
what terrible marketing, I may say.
yeah.
Just to
So
point out.
it's just like that's just like one of those moments that I recently have pinpointed. It's like, wow, I was in grade school when that happened. And I'm not blaming anyone else for even giving it to me. Like I wanted it myself because I thought that it was the better option, quote unquote, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
That's that's so crazy to think about, but I think it's so natural of you to think that way, especially because I
Mhm.
do think for some reason white bread had just such a weird thing around it for us. I remember that because I would look up to you and be like, "Yeah, give me the bread thin too." Like, I feel like I
Yeah.
grew up doing that too because I just had such a negative association with white bread as just an example
Mhm.
where there's so many instances like that. I feel like in our childhood where we just always would choose something like a wheat thin just because we thought it would make us skinnier.
Mhm. Which I feel like also plays into today a lot too. And just everyone does
Definitely.
that. It's like, oh, I have this as opposed to this, and for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah,
course,
it's not
there's
it's not
healthier
'cause
options in terms of like fast food versus a home cooked meal, but that's a whole different story.
yeah, like, now I'll never choose white bread because I purely don't want it.
And
I
because
want
like I
I would
don't
like
like the ingredients, like, I
yeah,
care more about the ingredients than I
yeah,
do the taste of white bread, but
yeah.
give me all
Our
the
little
sourdough.
Yeah, give me all the sourdough, but our little selves back then had no idea about the ingredients, so
Yeah,
we now know that that was not the reason that we chose to eat wheat thins. Wheat wheat thins.
yeah, I know. That's, like, a totally different thing, wheat
Yeah,
thins. They're
I'm
like
like,
they're like crackers, aren't they?
yeah,
Yeah,
they are
yeah.
crackers. I don't
Um,
they just,
those
like
low-key slap.
I I don't
And,
think
like,
I literally don't think I've ever had a wheat thin in my life.
I
I don't
can't
plan on
see
it, but
I cannot picture you eating a wheat thin.
no, that thing would just never go in my mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Kateri, you are my older sister,
Yes.
obviously. So it's very natural for you to want to shield me, I feel like, from anything that would negatively impact me or my thought processes. But I really do want to hear about your journey with your relationship with your body, with food, with everything, honestly, because it is something we talk about. However, I feel like we've never really talked about where, those past experiences that got us to where we are today. We kind of
Mhm,
just talk about maybe those body image issues that we have now. And it is such an open communication between us. Like,
mhm,
we definitely share every thought in our mind about it, but
mhm.
we never talked about, those childhood moments, such as choosing a bread thin on the beach. So,
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like I don't explain why I am the way I am now because of what I experienced or thought about in the past to you,
yeah,
because it's
yeah,
just like you said, I do try and shield you a lot from it. I think as your older sister, I just inherently have that motherly instinct to just protect you, and I know that you have to go through your own experiences and experience life on your own, but it's so just, like, in me, I just have this motherly instinct to be like, "No, because I went through this, I don't want you to go through the same thing and feel the same way as I did, so let's just not go there so that you
yeah,
won't have to kind of see what that was like." But I feel like, I don't know, my journey with it all is very it's not it's I would say it's complex, but it's also very common and normal, but like I said, it started at a super young age, and that, like, whole grade school bread thing is just one of those things for me that I can now see myself, and I just wanna, like, hug my younger self and be like,
yeah.
"I am so sorry that that is what you
Like,
thought was gonna make you skinny and that you thought you needed to be skinnier." But even, like, then, I don't know, like, I just growing up, I always felt bigger than other girls. I always had these, like, bigger legs, as me and as we'll call them, the
the Krause legs.
Krause legs, which now I love, but you know what I mean? It's like, even in grade school, I mean, I didn't even hit puberty yet, and I'm comparing what I looked like
Yeah.
to other girls, and it was always like that for me. I don't know why, I think it was
No,
just
I totally get what you mean.
you could see
I know
someone
what you
else
mean.
yeah, it's like someone else is tinier than you. I'm like, "I'm in 7th grade, like, chill out,
Yeah.
Kateri." Huge.
Literally chill out. Like, it's so crazy to think we even
I know.
had those thoughts, and I remember those thoughts so vividly. Like, I don't know, it was never a question in my mind about having those thoughts too. It's
Yeah,
funny.
I didn't think that they were, like, a problem. I just thought it
Yeah.
was normal to have them and think that way. But really, I feel like in high school, for example, I just remember, like, prom. It was always, like, coming up to prom, everyone would be like, "Oh, I need to, like, diet because prom's coming up." And I don't know if it was junior year or senior year, I can't remember which one, but I had tried, like, the paleo diet, and then literally before prom, because I was like, "Oh, I need to lose weight before prom." I didn't do the paleo diet for, like, the benefits of it, like, I didn't know it was an anti-inflammatory diet,
Yeah.
whatever the reason is people do it now, like, I was doing it for the sole fact that I could potentially lose weight on it,
Yeah.
and then I tried, like, keto, like, all that stuff, you know what I mean? And it's just sad to think about. I was literally in high school, and instead of just enjoying the process and asking a date to prom and then getting ready with your friends, whatever it was, I was so worried about what I was gonna look like in pictures in my dress when it's like, you bought a dress that fit you, like, what are you trying to get skinnier
Yeah.
for? For it
Yeah.
to fall off you? Like, I don't know, so
And honestly, I think it's so sad to think that we tried all of those diets like that, and to think, I don't know if you relate to this, but to think that even on prom day and when looking back at those photos, I still wasn't happy with myself.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, I still do it to this day. Like, that's what I mean. Like, everything is still present in my life where I pick apart how my arm looks. I pick apart, like, literally any part of my body. And to think
Mhm.
that, I think I went on a diet before prom too, the prom diet, which is so terrible to even say. But
But it's like everyone's doing it, so you
yeah,
think that it's normal, and it's very sad and that people even experience that, but everyone's doing it, so you just hop on board with the freaking
yeah.
diet.
And I think it's such a letdown to yourself mentally when you get to that prom and you're still not happy with yourself too. I think that definitely
Mhm.
does some negative damage on your mind and kind of like ruins the relationship
Mhm.
definitely with your body. It's those instances where you're still not happy that just
Mhm.
like reset your mind to think like, okay, I have to keep trying, you
Mhm.
know?
Well, it's even like now, if I look back on prom photos, it makes me so sad because I'm like, "Oh my god, I looked so beautiful." Like, I
Yeah.
loved my dress, I looked amazing, my hair looked great, my makeup looked great, but then I know deep down that I was struggling that day, and
Yeah.
before I was so worried about my body and what I was gonna look like to my date and to my friends and to my friends' dates, like, whatever it was. So, it sucks, I hate having, like, that tainted experience, and that's very common in a lot of, like, my past photos, honestly. It's like
Yeah.
I might have looked happy in the photo, but I know that deep down I was struggling a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I was
About
mentally.
even, like, picking out an outfit that day.
Yeah,
Like,
I
oof.
know. I know, so high school was definitely it wasn't, like, all bad, but that definitely is just something I remember so vividly, and then when I got to college, of course, the freshman 15 hits ya, and I
What a terrible name.
like,
What a terrible thing to
I
say, the
literally
freshman
went into
15.
college thinking about the freshman 15, and then I feel like I just was like, "Okay, it's gonna happen," and, like, obviously, I was in an environment that I never had been before. I was drinking and I was eating not my mom's home cooked meals and whatever, but, like, definitely gained some weight freshman year, and then I feel like throughout college, my weight always fluctuated, like, I would leave for the summer and I would always lose a few pounds because I just wasn't drinking a lot and I was eating my
Yeah.
mom's home cooked meals, and it just, like, wasn't I don't know, it's not like I really tried, I just didn't have as much worry.
Naturally, yeah,
Yeah, it was, like, more
naturally.
of a natural thing, but then it would hit me like a ton of bricks when I would go back, like, sophomore year, and then I would gain more weight, and then I would lose it again, and then really junior year, going into junior year, I found something called food combining, which some people might know. But I started listening to that's like the year I started listening to a lot of podcasters and mindset people and health people. So I found this thing called food combining and I decided to give it a go. At first it started as like a very healthy thing. Like I was like, "Whoa, this is cool. Like it makes sense to me."
Yeah, and
And
I wanna point out that I don't even think it's not a healthy thing. I think where it led to was when it
yes,
got unhealthy.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I've always been interested in, like, food and exercise and how food can heal. So, to me, it was me exploring those interests and, like, that passion inside me a little bit more. So, going into junior year, I definitely lost some weight, and then when I got to school, just being in, like, a different environment away from home, I, like, dropped weight like that. Like, I was running on the treadmill a lot, and in my mind, it I didn't think I was doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, I fell in love with running. So you're running like 6 miles a day, and I was probably
Yeah.
eating like half the amount of calories as I even thought that I was. So, of course, I lost a ton of weight, but, like, even looking back on that, I'm like, I was not strong, I wasn't healthy, like, I can tell, and I was so fixated on staying that weight because everyone was then complimenting me, like, "Kateri, you look
Yeah.
amazing. Oh my god, Kateri, wow, like, I'm so proud, you look so good." And, of course, in the moment, you're like, "Oh my god, everyone's complimenting me," but then in the back of your mind, you're like, "Well, they weren't complimenting me last year, so I guess I was right. I definitely was bigger, and I didn't
Yeah.
look good, and when I went out to parties, I didn't look as good because I didn't get any compliments like this, so this
Yeah.
must be how people see me now, and I gotta keep up this image or else I'm big," or whatever it was, like, I think it just created that, like,
Yeah. Yeah,
type
and
and no one knew that, like, I don't think anyone did it on
yeah,
purpose.
'cause I don't think like, I feel like I'm not bashing those people who did say
Oh,
that because
no,
it is
no.
not their responsibility to know how our mind will take that comment, but I
Well,
also think with that being said, like, that's just why personally I feel like I never even comment on appearances anymore because you never
mhm,
know how they will take it. Because
exactly,
yeah, I would be the same as you, like, completely agree with that. If someone wasn't complimenting me then I actually must have looked a lot worse, and, like,
exactly,
clearly I look better, clearly I look thinner if you're
and
saying something to me now.
exactly, and I am at fault for saying that to people in the past, but I think now it's more of I'm looking at someone in a different light, so if I see them happier and lighter and have a different glow about them, I compliment that as opposed to like, "Oh, you look great," like
Yeah,
body image-wise, 'cause I
yeah,
just like you said, you never know what it took for that person to get there and then what it could potentially do to them if they're not there. So I
yeah,
think
exactly.
that's like a good note is remember how you're talking to someone and what you're saying because I don't blame anyone for saying it to me, like, I would have never thought about it either, but, like, looking back on it, it definitely it took digs at me in ways I
Yeah,
didn't think that it would,
yeah,
basically.
and I also think like I don't want to say like you can never comment on someone's appearance, but if it's someone you know, like if it's you and
Mhm.
me and you know I'm going to the gym every single day, I'm
I'm
working
working
for it,
hard, yeah.
not even to look thin because I want to, for me, because I want to be strong. And if you
Mhm,
were to say to me like, Isabel, you really do look great, like yeah, sometimes you need that to know that the hard work you're putting in is is paying off or
mhm,
is showing like you are getting more muscular. So I just wanted to add that in there because I
yeah,
think, unless you are really close with someone or know exactly what their mindset is on it, which is
mhm.
almost impossible, I would just say that would be the situation with you and I because I know you like the backhand might, you know.
No, exactly, like,
But
I know you're
yeah,
working hard, I know you're doing this, so I'm gonna compliment the discipline and that it's okay as well, it's paying off, like, great
yeah,
job.
yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, no, so then junior year going I went that's when I studied abroad the 2nd semester, so I went from getting, like, super skinny, and then I was buying all these, like, tiny, like, size 2 jeans, and then I went abroad, and going into abroad, I was plant-based. I say that very vaguely because, like, I don't even know what the heck I considered myself. But so, like, I didn't let myself freely just eat abroad. I think I had anxiety going into every single meal. Like, I thought about everything I was putting in my body. I wasn't working out as much and I was freaking out about that. I was like, oh my God, I'm eating bread and I can't eat this pasta, or like, I have to split this pasta. I can't have the whole plate. And like, serving sizes are half what they are here. But
Yeah.
it was just like such a toxic thing for me. And then when I came home from study abroad, I got sent home early because it was COVID. So it was like smack into COVID, which boom, that was a mental punch in the face for sure. I mean, for everyone,
I
like
mean
obviously.
but, like, so not what you needed to come home to. Like,
No.
COVID, I feel like gave us all so much time to sit with who we were, like,
Mhm.
who we were at that time, ourselves, and it gave us a lot of time to reflect on, just, like, you looked in the mirror a lot. You were home near a
Mhm.
mirror a lot. Like,
Exactly.
it just was the
And like
wrong thing to come home to.
when I tell you it consumed my brain legitimately all day, every day. Like it's very sad to say that, but I would wake up and immediately think about what I was having for breakfast because I needed to lose weight and I
Yeah,
hated my body. And I would literally go to bed at night bawling my eyes out because I was so unhappy with what I looked like in the mirror. And I would go in the mirror and I would just like pinch my stomach and like pinpoint and be like, I don't understand. I gained like so much weight. I don't fit in those size 2 jeans I bought 3 months ago. Like, what is happening? And it would legitimately consume my brain. And I just remember like we would all sit down for dinner. Mom made a nice dinner and I would come down like crying and the boys would be like, I don't understand like what's wrong. And I would have to like storm out of the house because I didn't know how to explain that I was just struggling so badly with myself. Like oh my God, it consumed me so much. My entire thought all day, every day was
yeah,
about my body.
and I
And like
think
no one else thought about what I looked like but
yeah,
me. Like, and no one was even going out. But I think it was just it's like a
I
weird
think yeah.
mental game that I was like trying to play with myself and I could never win,
Yeah, and
really.
I really do think though body image in particular, which is why I think it's so important that we are talking about it, is such a topic that can consume your mind though. Like
Mhm.
it is one of those things where once you start thinking that way, you cannot break it. You
Mhm.
cannot think anything but what you were thinking negatively about yourself.
Yeah.
Like it is so valid that it did consume your mind because I just don't know why either, but it's one of those things that personally I can't let go either. Like if I'm
No,
unhappy with how I look, it
it's
will
like s
like Kateri will literally see me if I wake up and look in the mirror and I'm like really upset with how I look, Kateri will see me snap and like flip my switch for the day and
Mhm.
all of that negative energy and like or arguments or being snippy with my mom, my dad, my brothers is literally because I didn't like what I looked like in the mirror, and
Mhm.
it's so sad because that's how it
Yeah.
consumes your mind. It
No, I
takes
know.
over.
It's like it's so unbelievable, and I mean, I'm blessed for those moments now because I think everything that I experienced, of course, led me to where I am today, but it's why I'm so passionate about my health and my fitness, but in a very healthy way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was just one of those moments I think it's like a big highlight of struggling too after, COVID and after abroad and all that. And like I always kept fluctuating weight. So it was like, oh my God, I got down to this weight that I finally liked and I felt like, enough to be that weight, and then I
Yeah.
lost it, like, I just let it slip, like, I was like, "How could you let that slip from your fingertips? Like, what
Yeah.
did you do?"
Well, and I think that sorry, I just wanna point out this too, I think that that also when you were skinnier at a point in time is such a hard thing because when you feel like you just got bigger, I think a lot of people reminisce on what they used to be, what they
Mhm,
used to look like, and then you try to mirror, like, what was I doing that exact like, what was my exact diet during that time? Like,
mhm,
how was I doing this? Like, I don't understand what happened, I'm still doing this, like, that is really such a negative cycle to get caught in, and it's so easy because I have 75,000 photos on my phone right now. A lot of those photos are from 5 years ago where I
mhm,
was a lot thinner than what I may look like now, and it's really easy to go back in that camera roll and just find photos and be
mhm.
like, "Man, look how good I looked then."
I
So, I just think
Well, and
it's
it's like everyone's always like, "Oh, well, you can't compare yourself to others," but yet we're constantly comparing ourselves to our past selves in
yeah.
photographs. Like, that's just it's, like, hypocritical.
You're a different person now. Like, you shouldn't look like what you looked like 5 years ago.
I
You
know.
don't even know the environment of what you were in when you looked like that 5 years
Mhm.
ago. You don't know the stress you were under. You don't know it could have been summer, you could have been happier, you could have had less problems, less homework, whatever it is, you don't even know what was going on.
No,
So,
exactly, and
I think
I don't know, it was just all of that was like I said in the beginning, I've always fluctuated weight, especially throughout college. And then once I graduated senior year, I kinda just was like, "You know what? Like, whatever. Like, I look like what I look like." I was starting to enjoy the gym more. I had gotten, like, a personal trainer leading into senior year that kinda shifted my mindset around weight training, so that helped me a lot, and then once I graduated, I just felt, like, released from this toxic cycle of working out and eating healthy during the week, and then the weekend comes and it's, like, binge drinking and eating a bunch of shit, basically. Like,
yeah, and
that's what it
it's
was.
just like a whole new reset. Every Monday, you just had to
Every
work
Monday.
off what you just
Oh my god,
ate.
it was,
Like,
like,
yeah.
such a toxic cycle, and, like, I participated in it, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was big party girl, and then I was a big health girl during the week, so it was just very, like, counterproductive for myself, so then once I graduated, I just felt this, like, weight lift off my shoulders because I felt like I could finally tap into more of my passion behind health and fitness and actually work on it and be who I wanted to be, like, I don't know why, I just felt like college, I couldn't be that, but then I graduated and I don't know, like, a lot of things changed for me. I started reading more, I started listening more, like, positive podcasts just about it, and I feel like I started shifting my mindset behind working out as a instead of saying to myself, "Okay, you have to work out because you're gonna have a piece of bread later or you're gonna have cake later," whatever it is, to, "No, I get to work out. Like, I get to wake
Yeah.
up and go to the gym. I get to move my body." That is such a blessing, and so that was a big shift for me mentally, was kinda changing how I viewed health in the gym and in working out, and then I think really just, like, tapping into okay, well, why do you like healthy food so much? Because I do. I like healthy alternatives. I love that. But now it's because I know the science that's it's backed by.
Yeah.
Like, I
It's
feel
like
better. I feel better. And that's what it's I don't care about if I look better. It's more about how I'm feeling on the inside. And it shows when I'm in tune with my body, when I tap into my food and I understand that food is fuel and it's an exchange for fuel. Like, I used to look at it as an expense, food being like,
yeah.
"This is an expense for muscle, this is an expense for, like, the crop top I wanna wear," basically, or whatever it was, and now I just change it to it's an exchange between 2 things. I'm eating food to fuel my body, so, like, it's giving me a benefit, and that's kinda also how I look at it now too, which I think is I kinda just realized that's really how I see, like, all of the food that I put in my body. It's like, how
Yeah.
is what am I putting in my mouth, and how is it benefiting my body?
Yeah,
Amazing. Let's
it's
dive
no
in.
longer it's not yeah, I totally agree. It's no longer I think I am starting to share a little bit of that mindset as well. Like, I definitely agree
Mhm.
with you on where I have like, absolutely when I'm eating stuff, I more care about like, I read the ingredient label not because I'm worried it's like you know what I mean? Not because 'cause
Too
I'm like, "Oh,
carb heavy or
yeah. Oh, is
something.
it too" I don't even look at the carbs or anything. I don't
Mhm.
even really look at the sugar. Like, I don't like, if it's not like, if it's fruit sugar, sure. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
I look at the ingredients. I look at if they use canola oil. I look at that because I don't wanna ruin my body with that stuff internally. Like,
Mhm.
it's not even what it looks like on the outside anymore, which is honestly such a beautiful milestone, I feel like, for us,
Yeah,
because that's a
definitely.
major shift. It is a major shift, but I definitely think it's important to note out, like, I don't know where I'm going with this either.
This is, like it's kind of
I
a hard
kinda, like,
topic.
lost my train of thought there, though.
I also feel like it's because this topic is easy to ramble about because it's so, like
There's so many different pathways
there's
I could take on this. Like, I don't
exactly.
wanna be like, "Oh, we're healed now." Like, I still wanna, like, talk about how
Are you talking to me or are you talking to the podcast?
I don't know.
I'm keeping it all in.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think now we both, like we go into the grocery store and we read every single ingredient label that exists,
We, like,
and
shout it to each other. I'm like, "Kateri."
canola oil, sunflower oil, natural flavors. It's like, okay.
Oh god, it's literally grocery store haul like, going to the grocery store is literally so fun these days. Like, I
Yeah, it's
love going with you and mom. I don't
but
know why.
it's such a letdown when, like, you used to eat something and then you pick it up and you're like, "Oh my god, I just, like, can't do it." Like, I know too much about what's in it to be able to eat it,
Yeah.
but I also have this rule that I tell myself that if it's homemade, I don't care.
If it's homemade, I literally don't
I'm
care.
like, "If it's homemade, it's healthy." Like, that's just what
But
I
it
say.
it honestly probably is, unless your home is cooking with seed oils. Get
Yeah,
that away
no,
from me.
like but, like, if my mom's making a cake, I'm gonna sure
Yeah.
as hell
No,
take a bite
there's
of that
definitely
cake.
something to say about that, though. Like, I really feel like we've always had sweet tooth like, teeth, whatever, the
Mhm,
plural for both for us both. But I really don't think about sweets as much anymore because I enjoy them, but like you said, like, if mom's making her Hershey's chocolatey chocolate cake, and
mhm,
I know that everything went into it, including the ingredient sugar that I do not fear anymore because
mhm,
I fear canola oil far more than I fear sugar,
mhm.
then I will eat that. Or like everyone close to me knows that I am on a chocolate kick lately because chocolate, I truly
Lately,
do.
the
I
past,
mean,
like, couple months.
I just really do think that chocolate is one of the only sweets that I know every single ingredient in, which is
Mhm,
pretty crazy, but,
that's true.
like, yes, there's sugar in it, but at least I know what sugar is. So
Exactly. Side note, Isabel went through a giant phase of just every night melting chocolate and dipping something else in it. It was like bananas, raspberries,
Oh
mashed
my
up
god.
raspberries and
Oh my
chia
god.
seeds.
I
It's like
literally found, like, whatever I could put in chocolate, I
it's
put in
like, "What can I dip in melted chocolate and put in the freezer to eat later?"
like
Literally, our dad would come in the kitchen and be like, "What's for dessert tonight is"
like, I literally just I would we have these sourdough pretzels at home, like, I would literally
Uncle
melt a bowl
Jerry's Uncle
Uncle
Jerry's from
Jerry's
Whole
sourdough
Foods.
pretzels.
They're
Oh
so
my god.
good. I don't think they're in every Whole Foods, they're not in Florida. Can't find them.
That's so
So they might be, like,
sad.
locally made to us and our
Yeah.
Whole Foods,
Oh,
which
they're delicious, and they're delicious in chocolate. Let me
yes.
let me let me tell ya. But but anyway, let's get back on track here.
Yes. So I
Um,
also think another part, just side note that I just thought about, as a female, learning more about my hormones has really helped me as well. I feel like I said, I've always been really into health and wellness, but never in the sense that I wanted to go, like, get a degree in it. I don't know.
yeah,
I didn't like studying it. I just wanted someone to, like, tell me the information and I could pass it on and bring it into my own life,
yeah,
like, literally. But as like, all the females listening, our hormones are very complex and we are not these simple people, and I think once I started learning, like, about my cycle and, oh, there's 4 phases, and every month you go through it, you spend time in a different phase and what each phase means and why you crave certain things and why you might feel a little heavier getting your period or whatever it is. So, like, once I started learning that, I was like, "Whoa, okay, that's why I feel better, like, halfway through my cycle and more energetic and lighter, and then when I'm near my period, I break out and I want more chocolate and I feel like I want, like, comfort food more." It's 'cause you're supposed to. I mean, like, the
yeah,
acne and PMS, like, that's not normal, but, like, your hormones are so complex, and I think if you start looking at your body like that, it does change things as well. Like you
Yeah.
almost honor yourself a little bit more and you allow yourself some leeway and to love yourself a little bit more because you know that what's going on is it's doing a beautiful thing every
Yeah,
single
it's
month your body's doing
natural.
it.
It's your body. Like,
Mhm,
it's as simple as that. It is literally your body, and I think it's really crazy how we were never taught about or
mhm.
talked about, especially in, like, our phys ed classes. Like, I don't know why we talked about, every single part of the body, especially in all-girls school. Like,
No, literally.
don't tell me about the male part of the body. No offense,
I
ma'am. I'm not
I
saying I'm just saying, like, you go
yeah,
learn about that. Teach me about my hormones. Teach me about why sometimes I'm acting a certain way, or like exactly what you just said, why I'm not energetic right now. What is going on
I know.
inside of me that I have low energy? Why am I craving chocolate then? Why am I breaking, like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
It blows my mind that we did not learn this and we're just taught, like, these are, like, your pill options, basically, as opposed
yeah,
to this is what your hormones are.
which
This is what
literally,
a hormone is.
yeah, like
It's like, back to the basics, people. Come on.
but literally, like, they just slap a pill in front of you that ultimately F's up your hormones even
Mhm.
more, and they tell you it's gonna, give you benefits, but really it's destroying your insides, it's destroying
Exactly.
your health, your mental and physical. That's an episode that we could talk about for another time for sure,
Yes.
because
Yes.
we could ramble on that forever, I think.
Mhm.
But I will say, like, I applaud you, Kiri, because I do know that you know a lot about hormone health, and
Mhm.
it's definitely something I think is a goal for me to read more into, to
Mhm.
learn more about, because I feel like now that I'm in school learning still, I, like, don't have much interest in, not that I don't have much interest, I'm a very curious person, but I just, like, don't, I finish my classes and, like, the first thing I wanna do is, like, not go read an article about hormone health
Yeah, and
when my brain won't even process it.
I think it can be so overwhelming as well because, like, we've never been taught it, so then it's, like,
Yeah.
learning this whole new thing, and it's like, "Oh, wait, shit, I gotta change my whole freaking routine."
Yeah, like, I have to change my life right now, like,
Yeah.
what's going on? But with that being said, like, I definitely understand how that helps you better your relationship, but I feel like it's almost like I see how, because I don't understand that fully, I do still see toxicity in my relationship with, I wouldn't even say food, just relationship with my body. Like, I
Mhm.
don't have a bad relationship with food truly anymore. I don't, I mean, maybe sometimes, but I don't really ever think that much into it, like,
Mhm.
so, but I feel like still to this day, I definitely have, body image issues, I would say, but also, like, just for example, it's so hard, when you look in a mirror and you don't like what you see. And, like, I know people tell you to change your thoughts around something, especially because, oh my God, we didn't even talk about this. Like, how you speak to yourself is
Mhm.
so important. It is so, so important. And I know that. Like, I know that deep down.
We've been
But
saying it for 3 episodes.
yeah, we've been saying it for 3 episodes. So said it's so, I know that I need to speak to myself kindly, but I feel like it's very hard. And I know people may relate to this. I don't know if they do, but for me personally, like, when
Mhm.
I look in the mirror and I don't like what I see, I'm not a bullshitter, and it's very hard for me to look in the mirror and be like, "You're beautiful. I love my body. You
Mhm.
look great today." Like, I can't say those affirmations when I don't believe it,
Mhm.
and that is so sad to think about, but
Mhm.
I think that's where a lot of it also comes from. Like, I don't know, like, the fact that I look in the mirror and, like, rip my body apart, like, what is that doing to me? My mind is telling myself that I gained weight or that I look bigger than I used to be, and it's just like my body's gonna believe that then. My mind said it, alright, then I'm gonna believe it. But I definitely go at myself when I look in the mirror, which is
Yeah.
really sad, you
Well, and
know?
I always say to you, and I'll say it to people listening, it's like the things you say to yourself, you would not say to me. You would never call
Yeah,
yourself or call me what you call yourself, like, in any world, no matter what I looked like.
yeah,
And I think you have to start treating yourself like you love me, basically.
yeah,
Like, obviously saying these affirmations and looking in the mirror and being able to talk nicely to yourself, it is really hard, and I used to struggle with it a lot too, and I still do, but I feel like something for me that it's just like everything in life. It's like consistency is key, and then the more and more you do it, the more and more it becomes a habit, and it just becomes an unconscious thought to, "Okay, I'm having a negative thought. Nope, let's loop this around to something positive." And that's kind of where I'm getting to right now. I feel like in my relationship, it's like I still have moments when I'm like, oh my God, I'm feeling bigger. Okay, I need to do some more cardio tomorrow, or I'm still not like where I want to be on the scale or whatever it is. And then now I'm at this point where I immediately bring myself back. I'm like, no, 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 Kateri, say something nice about your body. Say
Yeah.
something right now. And it immediately snaps me out of it because it's like, how can I be this role model to you? Is how I see it truly when I don't even do it myself. And now I feel like I've worked it into my life so much that it's a habit for me. Like if
Yeah.
I feel negativity coming into my mind about myself and my body and like what I look like on the outside, I will immediately try and just X that because I don't have time for that. Like
Yeah.
that shit is not affecting me anymore. I don't want it to enter my life in a bad way and stay longer than the 30 seconds that it comes in.
Yeah.
Like, see you
No,
later.
yeah.
And I think I hear you when you say it's hard for you to look in the mirror and be like, I am beautiful. I love my body.
Yeah.
It's extremely hard. You're lying to yourself, but you gotta fake it until you freaking believe it. Fake
Yeah.
it until you feel it. Mind does not know the difference between something that's true and something that's false. So if you
Yeah.
just tell it, you're beautiful, you are strong, you are healthy, you are wealthy, like that TikTok sound, like that's what I used to sing. Literally say that to yourself until your body believes it. And then
Yeah.
your body will start loving you back. Like that's what I always say. It's like you gotta give your body love in order for your body to love you back.
Yeah. And
It
I know that too. Like, you know what I mean? I
I
know
know
it,
you do. I know you do.
but I think I don't know. I
So much
understand
easier
that.
said than done.
It's
So much
easier said than done for
easier.
sure, but it's also honestly something that has made it easier though. Like I understand what you're saying, and I do want to start taking that approach on it because I don't let anything take up my headspace. I feel like negative other in other parts of my life. So like why am I letting this?
'Cause all very connected too. It's
Yeah,
like
it
if
is. It
it's
is.
impacting your physical, it's gonna impact your mental in
Yeah.
other places and take it
Yeah.
out on other people.
Yeah. But I do think I just want to bring up the gym for a second because you really got me into the gym, I would say. You really, I think, healed my relationship with fitness, one, which I think you know. But you got
Thank
me
you.
into
I
the yeah.
appreciate that. I hope I did.
You really got me into the gym, and the gym has kind of gotten me out of that. It's
Mhm,
made it easier for me to lie to myself in the mirror. I feel like, do you know what I mean? Like when
mhm,
and I'm not saying because it's like the toxic energy of like, oh, I ran today. Like it's not that. It's more of I totally channeled my energy when I'm in the gym into wow, I am lifting weights. I am doing this like all to build a stronger body. And I
mhm,
think deep down when I know that, when I look in the mirror and I still don't like how I look, I'm like, I don't care because at least am building strength beneath this. Like
mhm,
I lifted 50 pounds today. Like good for you, Isabel. You know what I
mhm.
mean? So I
Yeah.
do think that the gym really is something that I've resonated with. And when I kind of flipped my mind, when I do, I don't think it's stellar all the time that I think that way, but I
Mhm,
do think that when I am in that headspace and when I am consistently working out, that I see more changes in my body that I've been wanting to see, but it's just naturally happening because I let up that thought of just hating myself. So I'm
mhm,
just saying that because I'm like, it literally is true, like how you speak to yourself. And it's so annoying because I know it's true and I see the
mhm.
benefits of when I do speak kind to myself because I don't even realize it. And I'm like, I don't know why I just don't do that all the time. Like, you know what I mean? It's hard to obviously keep that and not get stuck in the toxic cycle, but I just I do feel like for some people, like the gym has made it easier for me to
Mhm.
pretend to love myself because at least I know I am putting in some of the work and I am
Yeah.
a person that like Kateri even sees it when I lift like when I do reps at the gym, if I like don't think I push myself hard enough, I'm like, what the hell? Like
As
I
well,
didn't do
after, like,
it.
every rep, she's like, "Was I even, like, going hard enough?" I'm like, you couldn't do the last rep because you were that tired." Like, that's what I would call as many reps as possible. That is perfect, Isabel. And she just, like, beats herself up. I also think you beat yourself up a lot when you are away from the gym for a little bit, like, you studied abroad, you were in
Yeah.
Switzerland. Life happens. The summer jobs, they're different
Yeah.
hours, whatever it is, like, I feel like that is something that is still up in the air
Toxic.
because it's hard. It's extremely hard. Everyone
Yeah.
goes through that. It's like I go on vacation for a week. Oh shit, I'm gonna be away from the gym for a week. But it's like,
Yeah.
let your body be. It'll snap
Yeah.
back into it.
And
Like
I think that is so true for me. Like I definitely do beat myself up. Like I've been working on it. Like in
Mhm.
Switzerland, I don't really think I thought about it not
No,
going to the gym.
no,
I
definitely
think I think when I did think about it, it was more of like I felt the mental buildup
not. Mhm.
in my day of like, wow, that's how much the gym does for me for my mind.
Well, because I do think mentally the gym and just working out is such a stress reliever and
Oh my
anxiety reliever,
goodness.
so it's more you saw it the effect of not going to the gym in that sense, which
Yeah.
I think is a great stride towards, like, a
Yeah.
great relationship with the gym and working out, so
But
props to you.
but I definitely do agree, like, there definitely is some negativity still, like, probably when I got back from Switzerland, one of the first things I said for you is, like, "I need to go to the gym because I feel like I'm
Mhm,
losing all my arm muscle." Like,
mhm,
that's just not true. It's
yeah,
just not, but
and then she goes to the gym and lifts the same weight she was doing before, so clearly the muscle's still
yeah.
there.
Yeah, just to the point where, like what Kateri said, like, I always beat myself up for my reps. I just think I'm the type of person who needs that hard work
Mhm,
to give myself the validation and to give myself the credit. Like, I
mhm.
need to do something to earn that credit, and as messed up or toxic as that may seem, it's also
No, I don't
very
think it's
healthy for my mind because it's just how my mind works, you know?
I don't think it's toxic when like, for you, because I know why you're thinking like that. It's like I hear this I keep hearing the sound on reels, and it's about if you have, like, a doubt about yourself, do something that proves that doubt wrong.
Yeah, I think that's what it
So,
is.
like, you going to the gym and creating this discipline and that habit of going to the gym, coming back, eating breakfast, like, having your protein, whatever it is, you're literally proving yourself wrong. You're proving
Yeah.
that self-doubt wrong, so it's literally just if you think a negative way, okay, what can you do to prove that wrong? It's like give yourself the
Yeah.
action to be like, "Okay,
That's
well."
like yeah, it's honestly what I do in my life. I
Mhm,
feel like I really started doing that honestly too. Like the fact that you just said that is like I always wanna prove myself wrong,
mhm,
and it's like my motivator these days, like when I'm down or stressed and I'm like, "I need to prove myself wrong right now." Like,
mhm.
I need to show myself. It's like when we're running, like when I wanted to hit 7 miles so badly, I would not let myself fail because I needed to prove to myself that I could do it.
Yeah, so you could
And
remove the doubt that you
yeah.
couldn't do it.
Yeah, which is I think a healthy channel for people if you're open to that, like, definitely make the why behind what you're doing stronger, I
Yeah,
would say. Like,
exactly. Like, take
you have to want it enough deep down
mhm,
and you'll achieve it, so
exactly. And also another thing that I wanna recommend to people, forgot to mention it, so after I graduated, like I said, I feel like my relationship with my body really began, like, a healing journey, and when I first moved to Florida, one of the first, like, self-help books I read, I would say, is called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and, this book just it really, really hits home for me because I truly feel like that began such a journey of self-love and loving myself and loving my body. There were so many moments when I would be reading in the morning and just start, like, bawling my eyes out because it would say something that really resonated with me and really resonated with what I wasn't doing almost and how I was treating myself, and it was like, shame on me for doing that to my own self,
yeah,
and I just think if you are looking for a good read to help kinda get past these thoughts, I think it's hard to talk to other people about it when they're not experiencing it, but it's that book, like, changed my life truly in a lot of different aspects, but mainly my relationship with my body, and it's one of those books that I wanna go back to and read again now, honestly, to see, 1, how far I've come and see what other areas of my life it kind of affects as well. Like, in that moment, I needed it for my body. I needed it
yeah,
for my relationship with my body, and it did
but
help me feel
yeah,
that. So, I highly, highly recommend that book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay.
I
$9
have
on
yeah,
Amazon.
I have to read that. Kateri's been on me about that, and
Mhm.
I know. I have to read that, so
Maybe saying it on this podcast, she will read it.
hopefully, now that I said that is I can kind of read it now and maybe come back to you guys with my input on it. Like
Exactly.
like Kateri
Slowly. You don't have
yeah,
to read it all in one night. I just think like, I would read, like, 10 pages of it a day sometimes because it was,
yeah,
like, all I could take. But I
yeah.
just think it
It's
would
one of
help me with that affirmations in the mirror. It talks a lot about that and looking at myself in the mirror every single day and saying 3 things that I loved about my body that day,
yeah,
3 things that I loved about my mind, whatever it was, and I think when you hear it from an outside perspective, such as this random author that I just picked up her book, and it's not your sister telling you to do it, it's not your mom, it's not anyone, your friend, whatever it is. I think it
Yeah.
just really you're like, "Wow, it's not normal that I think this way," and even the stranger whose book I'm reading is like, "You are not living a normal life this way."
Yeah.
Like,
I
you are
def
not
Yeah, you're
doing
right.
justice, and you're giving yourself the life that you deserve.
You're right to that point because I think it's really hard to hear it from someone close to you.
Yeah, well, I
Like,
think that's what the issue like, I get super control I don't know if controlling is the right word, but especially with you, Isabel, and, like, my mom, I do this with people because I want you to just love yourself so much and see you how I see you, so
yeah.
then I get, like, angry when I hear you look in the mirror and say something bad about yourself, and I'm like, "Do you understand that you don't need to feel like this? Like, you don't need to say this," but it's hard, like, you hear it from
Yeah.
me all the time, and you're like, "Oh, Kateri, like, you used to think this way too," and it's like,
Yeah. And I do
doing it
always say that to
I'm
you.
doing it from the bottom of my heart, but I think it's extremely hard to listen to people that are close to you. It's like, "Shut
Yeah.
up. Please shut up. You don't know what I'm thinking, you don't know what I'm feeling, so please get away."
Yeah. So I do think something about you being alone in the presence of just
Mhm.
words written down on paper telling you that your thinking is wrong is really
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah,
So
like,
I
sitting
will
with
definitely read it, but as Kateri says, I think everyone should read it then.
yes.
Join me along and read
Book
this book.
club.
Yeah, book club.
A book club.
No sugar book club.
Yes, I like it. So, yeah, I know that this episode has kinda been, like, all over the place. I feel like this topic is just all over the place.
But I feel like that's what I wanted this episode to be. I didn't want you guys to
We
get
didn't go
anything.
into it with much of a plan, we were just like,
Yeah, I
"Let's"
just wanted to talk about it as openly and freely as my thoughts were coming in
Mhm,
because I didn't really want this to be for like anything for you guys to take with you. I just wanted you to like as we said, this podcast is definitely something that we want you guys to relate to or
mhm,
not even relate, just know that other people are experiencing things that you
mhm,
are too. So we wanted to just have an open conversation with each other, let you guys listen in on that
mhm,
conversation and realize, wow, I'm not crazy. Don't beat yourself up. Like
mhm.
it is totally normal. And I think it's one of the most like under talked about topics and it makes me so mad because it is one of the biggest things I think that has consumed my mind in my
Yeah,
life. Like
exactly.
the one thing that has stayed consistently on my mind my entire
Mhm,
life.
mhm.
So that's crazy that we don't talk about it more often.
Exactly, and I think that's also why we wanted to do this episode so early on in the podcast as well, is because, like as Will said, this was one of those topics on Instagram it was hard for us to touch upon. I don't know if we just didn't have the words for it. I don't know. I think just having another platform to be able to open up to you guys about it, we just wanted to show you like more behind the scenes of what's going into these two girls that are posting on social media and just give you some like light in your life that you're not alone and you can
Yeah.
trust us in the fact that like we have these bad thoughts too. We experience different emotions about ourselves and you're allowed to feel them, but how you choose to deal with them is up to you and you alone. But you can have a beautiful life. You can have a beautiful life loving yourself, loving what you do. And I think it's up to you to control that and recognize if you're not in a good place, how can you change it? And if it's by journaling, if it's by reading that book, whatever it is, take control. Like
Yeah.
I'm tired of people living as well. I'm tired of you living with this negativity. I'm tired of me having any self-doubt. Like let's change this narrative so that we can grow and love ourselves more and become the best versions of ourselves.
Yeah. It's exactly what I'm taking. What I'm taking from this episode is let's make a change together, right?
Mhm,
Let's all go on this journey of appreciating our bodies and ourselves for what our bodies show up for every single day
mhm.
because they show
Exactly.
up a lot in our life and
They're
we constantly
powerhouses,
they are
man.
powerhouses and I think we constantly knock them down and
Mhm.
I'm done doing that. I am. Like, let's start
Agreed.
appreciating it. So we really appreciate you guys listening. We hope you resonated with some of the things that we said. I think this was a very honest episode and vulnerable
Mhm,
episode for Kateri and I think we opened up on a lot of stuff that we've never really talked about outside of maybe each other. So
mhm.
we appreciate you guys listening and yeah, I hope you took some thoughts with you that really make you feel a little bit more comfortable and, work towards a little bit more change in yourself.
Exactly. And if, as always, if anyone wants to talk with us or reach out after this, has questions, anything like that, please feel free to DM us. We would love to hear from you guys. And it's important, I think, to reach out to people and talk to other people. Thank you guys for all your love and support and for listening to this episode. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, ratings, whatever it is. We really want to hear from you guys so we can get better and become better podcasters for you guys. Stay tuned for another episode next week, and we'll see you then.